We're going to move to the next speaker, which is Kate Henwood. Now, some of you already probably know Kate from this area. She's a local freelance photographer. She's based in Worthing and a stalwart of the small business networking community, with My Networking Club, as well as being a volunteer fundraiser with a number of local and national charities. In 2015, aged 45 and adjusting to life as a single parent, having been widowed 2 years before, Kate received the news that no one ever wants to hear. You've got cancer. Today's talk delves deeper into the impact of those words and how living with cancer doesn't have to be sad, short, or boring. Welcome, Kate.
Picture the scene. Sitting in a modern hospital waiting room, I'm watching the nurses in their blue uniforms going in and out of consultation rooms, carrying folders of notes, welcoming apprehensive patients, and seeing relieved patients exit. The clock on the wall ticks loudly, its hands moving so slowly, as my appointment time comes and goes. 7:25, 7:30, 7:35, 7:40. The consultation room door that I've been watching intently opens, and a nurse in a green uniform calls my name. A green specialist uniform. Not the standard blue one, with the words Macmillan Cancer Support embroidered on the front. My world stopped. Nothing would ever be the same again. That was February 2015, and the news that I received when I went into that consulting room is as vivid today as it was then. My oncologist, Dr. Richard Simcock, proceeded to explain the extensive tests that had been carried out at Worthing Hospital and what they'd found. An aggressive cancer in my left breast consisting of 3 tumours. One wasn't enough, and each measuring between 5 and 9 centimetres. I like to be different. My cancer proved to be the same, as the type of breast cancer that I had wasn't just simple breast cancer, it was inflammatory breast cancer, something that's only diagnosed to less than 2% of those who are ever diagnosed with breast cancer. That's me all over. And with this inflammatory breast cancer, the cells multiply 10 times quicker than normal cancer cells. This cancer had already decided to spread elsewhere in my body, travelling to my lower spine and my breastbone. Could have been worse. Could have gone to my lungs, or my liver, or my brain. Infinitely harder to treat. So hey, there's the first rainbow. The fact that it had already spread meant that I had secondary or metastatic breast cancer. So this puts me and my cancer in a box that's marked treatable but not curable. It's also what's referred to as terminal cancer, a one-way street and probably quite a short street at that. Treatment for terminal cancer is always palliative. It's about maintaining a quality of life, not trying to find a cure or live for years, but making the best of the time that you have. My prognosis, the time that I had left, was predicted to be 44 months. Just less than 4 years. Meaning that if I was lucky, I'd be around to see my son get his GCSE results and maybe start college. Hey, there was another rainbow. I left that appointment with my head in a bubble, my head spinning with all the information. A sheet of appointments, a bag of brochures, and a phone number in case I wanted some more information. The plan was aggressive chemotherapy, double mastectomy, intense radiotherapy, and then a lifelong maintenance program to keep those nasty little cancer cells at bay. I certainly wasn't in control of most of what was about to happen to me, but there were elements that I could control, and by golly, was I going to be in control. There was another rainbow. Fast forward 8 years, I'm still here. The 44-month prognosis is long gone, and I don't often think about the when. It's more about the what do I have time to do, and what do I want to do. Don't get me wrong, I still have secondary breast cancer. I still have medication every day. I have injections every 3 weeks. I have scans every 6 months and a compromised immune system. And that means I get priority access to things that, like COVID vaccines, things that normally only the over 75s get. Woohoo! When I had my last scan in September and it came back, in the words of my oncologist, boringly normal, I hit a new level in the cancer world. I am now an exceptional responder. What does that mean, you ask? It means, well, for those of you that know me, it means I don't respond the way the medics expect me to. No change there then. And I respond beyond medical expectation. But on the plus side, if and when my cancer returns, I'll be offered the very newest treatments because they know that I will react really well to them. More rainbows, woo! Being me, I was, however, very disappointed to find that there was no certificate and no badge to recognise this achievement. So I made my own. I don't know where we've got to on the slide. There we are, we've caught up now. Well done, thank you. I'm rubbish with doing this bit. The chemo and radiotherapy had worked well, putting me into remission in less than 9 months. The removal of both breasts meant that there was only minimal breast tissue for any cancer to return to. I opted not to have reconstructive surgery and to stay flat. My body had got quite enough to contend with, and the thought of more surgery, implants, toxins, leakage, and the possibility and highly likely complications these could create simply weren't worth the hassle. On the plus side, I now have a range of prosthetic boobs in many sizes, meaning that I can be fat, flat, or fabulous, dependent on the occasion. And the next slide. When I was diagnosed, I was determined that my cancer journey would have a purpose. If my story and my experiences made a difference to just one other person, then it wasn't in vain. Having nursed my husband through 14 months of cancer treatment and hospice visits, I've got the carer t-shirt too. Fortunately, it's not often that you can tell both sides of a cancer story from lived experience, but I can. And it was while I was on treatment that I began to blog my story on my Facebook page. Kate can do this. I also decided that cancer was not going to define me. Cancer is what I have, not who I am. Being busy is what I do best. It means that I don't have time to think about the what ifs. But it does mean that I don't often have energy left at the end of the day to do the things I want to do. Can you go back one, please? Thank you. I'm registered as disabled. I have a blue badge for my car because there are days when the fatigue and the side effects from the drugs simply make it too difficult to function. But you won't often see that. I hide it well, sometimes too well. I'm absolutely convinced that the mindset and positive mental attitude that I had played a huge part in my recovery. 3 cycles into my chemo, my first scan showed that one of the 9-centimetre tumours had nearly disappeared. My oncologist's comment was, "Whatever you're doing in addition to this treatment, Kate, keep doing it, because chemo on its own can't have done this." There are still days when cancer catches me out and I have to face my nemesis, that recurrent disease, head on. Those are the scary days when all the bravado and positivity of Kate Can Do This flies out the window. And I retreat, calling on my amazing friends to reassure me that it's okay, to regroup and re-emerge. In 2017, I started to look ahead, to plan, to hope, to dream. I spent a few days at a residential cancer centre that focuses on living well with cancer. While I was there, I had a consultation with one of the doctors and asked this question that had been bugging me for ages. Do I make memories with Ollie, who was 15, now, even though they're not age appropriate? Or do I wait until he's the right age? And maybe I'm not well enough to do them. The response was this: do them now while you can, and do them again later if you still want to. This simple statement gave me the permission I needed to do stuff and make memories and be the best parent I could be, so that if the prognosis was right and 44 months was all I had, I'd leave a legacy of memories and experiences for Ollie that he could hold on to in his later life. So we've had holidays, weekends away, theme park visits, crazy day trips, because we can. And we still do. Life with incurable cancer doesn't have to be boring. My day-to-day life is busy, manic even. Juggling 3 businesses, fundraising and networking takes a lot of time. And then there's friends and family to fit in too. There's always fun and laughter, and there's usually tea and cake as well. And now I'm a nana to 6-week-old Ezra. Becoming a grandparent was always a hope, but more of a distant dream. But actually, it's simply a blessing that I never dared think possible. This is just a tiny insight into my cancer journey. You can read more in my book, What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger, available from Amazon for $4.99. Or you can read my blog on my Facebook page, Kate Can Do This, where you can see that life with incurable cancer doesn't have to be sad, short, or boring. Thank you for listening.